So it is now officially official. Forest is in the Premier League next season. We can't go down, be it on goal difference. We can't go down mathematically. It's between West Ham and Spurs. And no, I'm not wearing the Hawaiian top. And I'll tell you why in just a second. Welcome to Forest 1, Newcastle 1. Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Welcome to the match reaction, even though I'm probably not going to talk too much about it, as Forest drew on the beach, as I claimed it would be, against Newcastle. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about that game. We'll talk about what safety really does mean for Forest now, and probably some other crap that I'm going to talk about, which I haven't thought of yet. So make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you've hyped, make sure you're following us on Instagram. We're coming up to, I think, 5k on there. So shout out to each and every one of you following us there. The link's pinned in the comments, or if you can be bothered, you can scan that QR code. Okay, let's just quickly touch on the game. I thought the game was a beach game. I thought a draw was a fair result. Big up to Anderson scoring against his boyhood club. You know, I was worried he'd cramped up, but that looked all right. And yeah, that got us a point. But it's a point we didn't really need in the end, because even if we'd lost that, with what happened at West Ham, they could have caught us on points, but with the goal difference swing, it wasn't enough. And it looks like 37 points would have kept you in the Premier League, because I don't know if they can get any more points. They better do though, man. Spurs need to go down. So look, the game was the game. I was glad to see that those injured players, the Ainars of this world, the Sangares, etc., weren't played yesterday, because that would have annoyed me. But in general, I wasn't that fussed about that game, because I've honestly thought we were safe since we hit 37 points. All the other points have been added bonuses and extended the gap. Forest have moved up a place. Leeds will play Spurs tonight at 3 Point Lane. Either any result there helps Forest, because if Leeds win, then Spurs probably can't catch us. If Spurs win, Leeds stay below us. If they draw, don't know what happens there, but I'm sure I can make it sound like it's in our favour. But why am I not in the Hawaiian top is the real question. First season back, we beat Arsenal. We broke out the beach towels, the Hawaiian tops, everything else. Second season, we had points deduction, stayed up. Everyone was happy. I was happy. Last season, we were fighting for Champions League, bottled it, but still got Europe. Good season, though, overall. This season, for me, was all dependent on the Europa League. Had we got to the final and won the Europa League, it goes from being a meh season to an excellent season. Probably one of the best seasons I would have seen in my lifetime. And because we didn't win it, survival for Premier League for me is regression, if I'm being honest with you. We should be kicking on from where we were last season. We should be pushing into that top 10. We should be, we did well in the Europa League semi-finals. Okay, it's disappointing, but still in the cold light of day is good. But I'm not doing this thing, and I think I talked about it on stream, where I keep hearing, remember where we were, bottom of the championship, remember when we were League One, and all this stuff. You can't just pick and choose your timelines. That's the thing. You can compare your timeline to what you did last season. Like, I'm sure a lot of you, like myself, have appraisals at work. They don't go to you, remember where you were 5 years ago, when, I don't know, if you're in sales, your sales figures were this, and now look at them now. Even though you dipped, from last year, but if we compare it to 5 years ago, you're doing a fantastic job. Let's give you a pay raise and a promotion. It doesn't work like that. It's called year on year, man. Why oh why? You check out what you did versus last year. And if I compare what Forest did last year to what we did this year, it's night and day for me. I'm sorry. We were a more cohesive team. You always went into a lot of games, okay, barring the last kind of 6 weeks, thinking Forest got a good chance here. Defense looked solid. The off the field stuff wasn't off the fielding like it is this year. And everything just seemed to be working on and off the pitch. Forest and Magic on and off the pitch actually resonated true last season. This season, it's been a clown show off the pitch. And in a lot of the times during the season, it's been a clown show on the pitch. The whole Ange thing, not getting a win. Sean Dyche picking his nose 100 times a game. It's just it's not been an enjoyable season for me outside of the Europa League campaign. That one I've enjoyed in its main. There was some questionable results in there as well. But I just think Forest should have been doing a lot better, especially as we invested over 200 million last summer to get a lot of players in, all of which we looked at and thought potential. Now, I feel that coming into this summer, and now we're safe, I think we can have these conversations, is we need to start talking about what does the club do now. Now, the first thing that has to happen is that Edu has to be officially announced as out of the club. We know he's been barred from going to the club. We know it's just a matter of time before it's officially announced. But Forest, first things first, need to get the off-the-field stuff done correctly so that the hierarchy and the structure is there so that a proper recruitment process can happen this summer. And with Forest more than likely only playing one game a week next season, we got to strip this squad down. We got to really assess some of these players and say to ourselves, are they the players that are going to push us back to getting European football, whatever form of it is at the end of next season? Are we going to be able to push for a trophy, maybe a domestic trophy, a League Cup or whatever? We've been to the semi-finals of those two respective competitions since we've been back in each one. So can Forest push on and get past this semi-final freaking hurdle that's plagued me for the majority of my life? And I don't know if we will. I think Marinakis needs to just get that structure right. Then we need to get rid of some of this deadwood. And there is a lot of deadwood in this club. I find myself doing it as well. I'll see moments in a player and I'll be like, yeah, maybe he is better than I thought he was. But is that the standard we should be holding? Should we be saying, yeah, like, well, Ndoye did score a goal at the start of the season and then, didn't really get a run under whoever. Yeah, maybe we keep him and see what he's like next season. Or do we need to be more cutthroat and be like, no, he crapped out this season? You could argue some of the other players, and I'm guilty of it. You could say, well, Backwat, objectively speaking, not had a good season. McAtee, stinker of a season. Luca, he needs to go back to Napoli. I will lose my mind if Forest take the option on him. And then we need to look at the defence. We need to look at the superstars as well. Murillo, what the hell's he playing at right now? Do we sell him? Or is he getting too big for his boots? Or do we try and keep him, get him on side and everything else? I don't know. What happens with Anderson? Are Forest going to try and sell him before the World Cup or after? Does he even want to leave? Everyone just makes the assumption, oh, Man City wants him, therefore he's going to go. What's going to happen with Gibbs White? We sat here at the end of last summer and pretty much unanimously, and I'm talking like across, the panel shows, across what you guys are saying in chat, a lot of people are thinking, okay, has this just kicked the can down the road for a year with Gibbs White? He's basically said yes to Spurs. So his intention potentially was that he wants to leave. Is that going to rear its head in the summer, especially if he doesn't make the World Cup? Does he then look around and think, well, clearly I'm not making it at Forest, Tuchel doesn't like me playing here, or whatever the reason might be? Does he look to move on? And then how are we going to start this next season? This pre-season coming up for Forest is going to be absolutely huge. If you look at what happened last pre-season, we couldn't even score a bloody goal. And people were telling me it's only pre-season, fitness, minutes and legs and all that. Outside of the Brentford game, we saw that bleed into the season as well. So I want to see a good pre-season. And it's going to be a shorter one, obviously, with the World Cup and then players taking their holiday. So my whole point on this video, and I know I'm ranting, I know a lot of you won't agree with what I'm saying. And I don't need you to agree with what I'm saying because we're all entitled to our opinion. I get what people say when we were bottom of the championship, look at where we are now. I get that. I'm proud of that, right? But look at it compared to what we did last year. Look at it compared to where everyone in our fan base, or the majority, or, me maybe, thought Forest should be and where we should be competing. We should be looking to do what Villa have done. We should be looking to do what Newcastle did. These are teams that we were competing with in the championship not long ago. And then, I hate to say it, look at Bournemouth. They haven't lost a game since January. They're 6th in the league. Bournemouth could end up in the Champions freaking League before us. A club that has, 1/5 of my subscriber base here on this channel in terms of the capacity of the stadium will end up in the Champions League before us. You have to say fair play to them. You have to say fair play to them. But my point on Boring Mouth is the fact that they came up the same season as us. And yes, we advanced past them last season because we got European football and they didn't. But look how their team got ripped up last summer. They lost pretty much their entire back four. I thought they could go down. And then Iriola sorts it out. And that brings me on to the next point. What do we do with the manager? I think a lot of us would like him to stay. I don't want to make any decisions or kind of, make my decision means anything. I don't get to say if he stays or goes. But I want to see where we are at the end of the season. And then I still think we need a little assessment on it to see, is it the right thing going forward? I think what he's done in terms of galvanizing the club, both fan base and players alike, has been fantastic. He's got Nuno traits in him, maybe a bit of Steve Cooper traits in him as well. But is there a long-term project under him? That's the question mark I have about it. So I think all these discussions need to happen in the summer, right? Let's get through these next two bloody beach games. And they're two teams that I can't stand. So I'm probably going to be up, especially for the Man U one. I want 3 points against them. But we're safe, and I guess that's all that matters. So I know it's a rant, but that's why I'm not wearing my Hawaiian top. Because the Hawaiian top should have been for getting European football. Should have been for winning the Europa League. Not for what we were celebrating 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I think we should have moved forward more so than we did. That's just my opinion. I'm sure you're all going to disagree in the comments. Let me know. Go follow us on Instagram. We'll see you on Grumpy Old Reds tonight. Make sure you've liked, subscribed, and hype. Come on, you Reds.